Hi everyone, it's Katherine Marie, and I'm just doing a little update. Welcome to the Long COVID Real Talk podcast. I wanted to tell you about a wedding that I went to. The husband's cousin, they're very close. We had to fly to get there. Was very tired because I was embarrassed about being pushed around in a wheelchair, so I just made sure I got there really, really early and had enough time to just slowly walk and take breaks to get to the gate at the airport. I think that in some ways the cold water, what is that word? The cold water, not immersion, therapy is helping because I feel like, I don't know how to explain it, but just some of the symptoms aren't as bad as before. Like the word finding, and I don't know why, but it's raining outside. I'm in my car if you can't tell, and for some reason the rain is really distracting me right now. I don't know why. It's just rain. But anyway, at the wedding, I was able to talk with multiple people during the wedding. I wore sunglasses because it was outside. The actual ceremony was outside. When I went inside the barn for the reception, I put in earplugs, which was helpful. So yeah, the first thing was I wore sunglasses outside and earplugs inside. The one thing I couldn't prevent was there were lights, like flashes were positioned around the dance floor and around the tables. And for whatever reason, when they when they when they were cutting the cake, the direction that I was looking was like there was a flash right in front of me, but like further away though. And they just kept taking so many pictures, and I was just like, oh my, and I just like went like this. And it was embarrassing, but like I didn't know what else to do. I tried to open my eyes again and then just look away, but it didn't work. And so like I just kind of went like this and tried to wait until it was over. And then one of the people at the table was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's okay. I'm okay. It's just the flashes are really hurting me, hurting." And I think that was probably the worst part, was the flashes. But overall, I think I did really well. I was proud that I was able to walk in the airports, even if I had to stop and rest. I was really happy about that. There were a few times where my husband was like, "Are you sure you don't want me to push you?" And I was like, "I'm sure well, no, let's just keep going. And he just took it at my pace, which was really kind of him. Can't think of any other long COVID related things about the wedding, but it was a beautiful wedding. The landscape was amazing. Everything was beautiful. The couple was wonderful. I was so happy to see their happiness. It was really beautiful, a beautiful thing to see. And the one thing that was, I know you guys will all understand this, but the one thing that was kind of frustrating was people kind of looking at me and being like, "Oh, I've heard how you've been so ill. You look so well." And I was just like, "Thank you." And I said, "Well, that's part of the thing about long COVID. Like, you can look for a while, but then it kind of smacks you in the face afterwards, after you exert yourself." And I tried to explain, but then I was like, these people are well meaning. They they care about me to some extent. And most people who don't have long COVID don't understand what long COVID is. And frankly, I don't think I would understand what long COVID is if I didn't have long COVID. Maybe I would, maybe but that's only because I'm a healthcare provider and my little sister has long COVID. So maybe I would, but other than that, I would not. And one family member, um, actually said something like, "Well, I'm so glad you're doing so much better." And I was just thinking, like, what? Because I hadn't like said anything to her, but I think everyone just thought because I was able to talk and I didn't appear ill that I was no longer sick. And someone made, there were people making comments like, "Oh, were you, you haven't been able to work, huh? Wow." I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "You seem so well." And I was like, "Well, if you talk to me for long enough, you'll start to see why." I kind of laughed to myself, even though they didn't laugh, but I thought it was funny. So yeah, it was kind of, and these, this is my husband's family, but it actually doesn't matter whose family it was. My family would say the same thing, probably, to be honest. It's just kind of frustrating because people don't get it and they assume that you're fine if you look fine at that moment. I don't know if I said this already. I don't think I did, so I wanted to add it. Um, I still weigh way too much. I'm still technically obese, and it has occurred because of the long COVID and just like between just meds and not being able to exercise very much. And if I do exercise, then I'm out for hours to days. Yesterday was the first day back from the wedding, and I slept the entire day. I woke up and I got my daughter off to school, but my husband went with me and he actually walked her in, so I didn't have to get out of the car. And then he picked her up, so I didn't have to pick her up. And then I just slept. Like, I came home and slept. I woke up around 1 o'clock maybe and had, I think, an oatmeal cookie, and then went back to sleep for another several hours, and then woke up and we had dinner, but I wasn't really, hungry because I hadn't really done anything all day, but I still had some of the dinner, and then I fell asleep again. And then I woke up at 1 a.m., changed into my jammies, took my medicine for nighttime, and fell asleep again. So it's been kind of crazy. Well, it's not crazy because I should have known that it was coming, because it's post-exertional malaise. We've all had this a million times. So I shouldn't be surprised. The only reason why I'm not in my house sleeping right now is because we get our house cleaned a couple of times a month and they are there right now. So I like to exit so that way they can do their thing without me being kind of in their business. And I also really don't want them to feel like I'm watching them or critiquing their work or anything like that, because for a while in college I cleaned a little bit, and uh it was the person that I cleaned for was really picky and critiqued my work a lot, and it was very bothersome to me. So I try not to do that to the people that come to our house. Anyway, so um okay, so the wedding went really well. I was surprised how well I did. I was able to stay until the the shuttle came to take us back to the hotel. I did not drink, but I don't usually drink. It's very rare that I drink like alcohol. They had this unsweetened tea that was amazing, and water. See what else. Oh yeah, so I wanted to tell you, when I went to see my primary care doctor on, I forget what day, but it was last week. I was talking to him about the cold water therapy that I was doing, and just I was just asking about what we can do for weight loss, because it's really, really difficult, as you know, to lose weight while you have long COVID. And what he said to me was, he offered a weight management referral, which I accepted. I think in weight management, they may be able to use medication to assist with weight loss. I'm not quite sure, but I think they're more likely to get it approved if it's through a weight management program or referral. But my primary care doctor said, people eat way too many calories just in general. People like for you, because of how much you sleep and how little you do, physically, you probably only need about 1,000 calories a day. And I was like, That is really insightful because I've been doing, 15 to 1800 trying to lose weight here and it's not really working. Or it's working, but it's just so slow. He said, yeah, I think you really only need 1,000 calories. So I'm like, oh, this is great. So I've already had just over the last few days, even though there was a wedding, I'm starting to come down on my weight a little bit. And I'm really excited about that. I feel like I have a little bit of an unfair advantage though, because I'm on Wellbutrin for depression, and Wellbutrin can decrease your appetite. And then I also have Adderall for ADHD, and that also can decrease your appetite. So I know I have an unfair advantage over a lot of people who would want to be losing weight. So I kind of feel a little bad about that, but I feel like I should definitely, utilize what I have to try to drop the weight. And there's another family wedding in 2 months. So I'm hoping, now that I'm trying to do the cold water therapy and the weight loss, like the 1,000 calories a day, that I should be looking a lot better, hopefully, for the next wedding. I was terrified to go to the wedding because I felt like I've never been this obese. I just have really, my self-esteem is at an all-time low as far as how I'm feeling about my body. And my dress was really cute, but like I'm just very, very thick here right now. And I'm not used to being like that. So I really hope that I'm able to get to a more comfortable weight soon. I like I look at it as 7 pounds at a time, because 7 pounds is how much a gallon of milk is. And I can't even lift a gallon of milk. Like, do you have trouble with lifting a gallon of milk? I don't know when it occurred, but I can barely lift a gallon of milk. Like, I usually audibly make a grunt sound when I pull it off the shelf in the refrigerator and put it on the counter. It's just like, and I just think to myself, that's only 7 pounds. How many of those are hanging off my body right now? Like causing more strain on my knees and my hips and, just like my feet and ankles. It's a lot. And just the visceral fat that my body has to carry around. So I'm really hopeful about the new calorie counting that I'm going to do through with Noom, Noom. I'll keep you posted on that. Right now, since the very beginning when I started to try to lose weight, I think I've lost about 7 pounds or one milk jug, and then I went up a little bit, and then I just came back down again. So definitely lost a jug of milk. So I think that's everything. The wedding. I just wanted to tell you about the wedding and the appointment with my primary care doctor. I will let you know how it goes with the weight management referral. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is that I had signed up to get a stellate ganglion block. I have seen this being used by physicians to treat people with long COVID, especially the dysautonomia. It seems like it has been helpful for a lot of people. And stellate ganglion block is abbreviated SGB. One of my friends who has long COVID wanted me to tell her how it went, because she was thinking about doing it as well. But I talked to a couple of people who are in surgery, that are like medical providers in surgery, and both of them told me not to do it, because they just said it's not, like, there are too many possible things that go wrong. They're sticking a needle in your neck, and you're starting to get a little better. You're not as bad as you were. So just, put it off for a bit and see if you can just get better without doing that. So I canceled it. It was actually supposed to be today, so I canceled it yesterday. I was going to have it done through Stanford. So I think that is it. I am going to go home now and sleep probably for the rest of the day. But I wanted to let you know how the wedding went and the appointment with my primary care doctor, and the canceling of the stellate ganglion block. So I think that's all the things. As far as, oh, I always forget to say this at the end. If you really enjoy this podcast, or it just makes you feel like you have a little buddy somewhere that's going through the same thing as you, because that's the whole point of it, at least for me, then please consider writing a review, giving us a 5-star review, and rating us a 5-star. Rating 5 stars. I'm not, my words, they're not, you know what I'm saying. 5-star rating and write a great review. The website is also being updated right now. It's longcovidlongtalk.com. That's very exciting. Really excited to have the Black Sheep Creative working on that. Improve it even more. And please share these episodes with other people you know with long COVID. If you're in long COVID groups or whatever, just because like that's why I make these, kind of to document it and also to share what's going on. I actually spoke with someone yesterday who had long COVID. He's actually better now, which I was so excited to hear. He was saying that he had edema in his legs, and I said, "Oh yeah, I have that too." And he was like, "What? You do? I had no idea that was a thing." I was like, "Yeah, it's a thing, you know." But it's just that hope that you feel when you talk to someone else who's going through the same thing that you're going through. It just makes you feel a little less lonely, a little more hopeful, you know, because that's something that it's really hard to keep, but we have to try to keep as hope. You know, it's not hopeless. Like Vicky said in one of the episodes a while back, it's not hopeless. And as Cynthia said last week, unprecedented doesn't mean impossible. So thank you for listening, and we'll talk again real soon. Okay, take care.